a question anyone that's really got into any depth of looking into the image in the Shroud of Turin would be this question right here. Where are the feet? How come there's no feet there? How come did the feet vanish during the image process? They're gone. And why are those lines along the side of the face? It's two blank lines. Make note of that. Well, there's two lines going down each side of the face image. That's just virgin fabric. It's untouched. There's nothing there. And you see the same thing when you I put the statue in a photocopier scanner, and wow, lo and behold, I'm getting those dark lines along the sides. That's because there's too much distance there as well between the scanner and the face for that to image. The same thing with a hologram. Hologram is not going to image the side of this rock. Can't. It's extremely compelling evidence of what? That's what it's evidence of. This part of the face did not image at all because it's too far away from the cloth. Plus it's way on the side. And when the cloth made contact with his face, the blood made contact with the fabric. But when the fabric was pulled straight over his face, and then the image process occurred, it creates the optical illusion that the blood from the side of his face is actually in his hair. And we see that here. These blood stains, those are from the side of the cheek. But what I've done, since this is a museum quality replica of the Shroud, and the separation between those bloodstains is in fact approximately, not exactly to the millimeter, 7 inches. I replicated them on this piece of cloth right here. And we're going to take it and put it on the face of Jesus. This is a life cast body. It's made of flexible rubber. So that's the real dimensions of a real human head. As you can see, there's a separation about 7 inches between those bloodstains, exactly how they are. And this cloth made contact with a 3-dimensional, real, genuine, dead person, scourged and crucified. There's the nose. There's the forehead there. Sides of the cheeks are here. This blood is making contact with the side of the cheeks. And when I go around to this side and I release that, you can see that. You can clearly see this blood stain that appears to be in the hair because of the image process is what it was actually not. And you see the same thing on this side. This blood stain on this side is actually partially from the cheek, and then the part that's down here is actually from the side of the beard. And then of course there's the number 3 blood stain. From the perspective of Jesus on his left side. And this is the position of the cloth during the image process, which was approximately 1 or 2 centimeters away from the face, so it was really close. But this is proof of 3 things. 1, bloodstains are first. 2, the image is a secondary event that occurs 48 to 72 hours after the blood made contact with this fabric. And 3, there was separation between the body and the cloth during the image process, which is proof of what? Solid proof?
A paranormal event. A paranormal event.
A German radiologist named Dr. Hermann Moder made this statement in regards to his investigation with the shroud. Shroud was used to enshroud a corpse in the image as the result of some form of interaction between body and cloth, and does not derive from the use of paint, powder, acid, or other materials which could have been used to create an image on linen. And since he said that, I'll make this statement. This is a forensic fact of the case. Microchemistry, microphotographs, X-ray fluorescence, infrared, and UV light evaluations confirm the shroud is not a painting. This is a quote by Italian scientist Paolo di Lizzardo. Tried for 5 years to replicate the shroud image and concluded it was produced by UV light. But the UV light necessary to reproduce the image exceeds the maximum power released by all ultraviolet light sources available today. The time for such a burst would be shorter than 1/40 billionth of a second, and the intensity of the UV light would have to be around several billion watts. Can anyone imagine if you ask 1,000 people to make a face image on linen, illustrate some blood going down the cheeks and some hair, how many people would leave 2 blank lines on their image? Allow me to answer that question. Not one person. There's a reason why the Shroud of Turin has microscopic shades of light and dark that create the optical illusion of depth forensically accurate to the object. It's because it is a holographic image. That's not a random accident. These detailed observations of these points of separation, and then we look at the shroud image and confirm that, well, does this match up? So the part of the body during the image process that had the greatest separation of all is here. And then next would be the dorsal side image behind the knees. So if the Shroud of Turin is really a holographic process, we should not be able to see an image. We shouldn't be able to see these feet. And this image should fade off. We should see the image process fade or stop here. And this right foot is lower than that left foot. So there's greater separation between here and here. So this area of the shroud, that should be a little bit faded there. So let's look at that first. Well, here's the dorsal side, and lo and behold, wow, what do we see? There's no image here at all. Image process stops. There is a few blood marks. And also, very important to make note of, again, the blood stains on the shroud are first, and the image process is second. Here's the back of the leg of the right foot, down below the calf. Image process is there, it's good, and it starts to fade here. Notice it's better image here, less. Less because this left leg is farther away from the cloth than that one. You can see it here too. There would be the right foot, and this part of the image is faded because it was farther away from the cloth. The greatest points of separation between the body and the cloth during the image process, this was where the greatest separation of all occurred. It's right here where there's the knees. As you can see, the image process stops completely. There's nothing. No feet. Where are the feet at? The feet were too far away from the cloth to image. It's not saying that there was not a light energy coming out of that part of the body, but having that extra distance it has to travel. By inverse square law, when that moving electrical signal has to go from here to here, it slows down in hertz frequency. You could say, let's say it started out at 3 trillion cycles per second. By the time it gets to there, slows down to 1 trillion cycles per second. But that difference in hertz frequency, when this light energy from the body makes contact with the fabric, it's no longer sufficient enough to cause the rapid aging effect. And that's because the feet were too far away from the cloth for the image process to take place. Same thing would happen if we attempted to make a hologram of this rock and we move this away from the film plate too far, we're going to get no image at all. So the image process on the Shroud of Turin, the forensic evidence tells a story of what? A paranormal event. One thing that gives us insight into the image process on the Shroud of Turin would be a laser printer. A laser printer applies toner by controlled electrostatic discharge, meaning electrical signals moving through space, then making contact with the printing medium. In this case, the printing medium is a 3/1 herringbone twill fabric, 8x2 cubits of a Syrian cubit. So a piece of linen is used as a printing medium, a holographic film plate. But in this case, where is the electrostatic discharge coming from? Well, we know for a forensic fact that the body, that's the position of the body during the image process. Do you think you could get anything in between there that's going to create an image process? What is the source of the light and energy that's printing this image on here? The body. There is no other possibility. As difficult or as improbable as that may seem, the forensic evidence tells us with unmistakable clarity the body is this source of light and energy that's making contact with these fibrils, outer fibrils of linen, causing them to age rapidly. So the electrostatic discharge, the source of the electrostatic discharge is the body. And that is maybe the hardest step for many people, a Shroud of Turin researcher, that step where you go here. While the image process, the body's not touching the cloth. Well, that would mean that the body is levitated. Yes, that's right. As soon as you cross that line, you are now into a paranormal event. And those are the things that many people, skeptic or any type of person, and we're not picking on skeptics or have contempt toward someone that hasn't made a decision or it doesn't believe that's possible. We're all skeptics. I'm a skeptic. So it's natural to I hesitate at that and go, come on, there's gotta be another explanation. Well, all contact image processes have been eliminated as being a possibility. This is what's left. Sherlock Holmes, the great detective, when all possibilities have been eliminated, all suspects have been interviewed, and there's only one person left standing. No matter how improbable that may seem, it must be the truth. In this case, that last remaining suspect that's standing is the suspect, the image, the printer of the image is an electrostatic discharge from the body of Jesus. That's the last remaining possibility. The Shroud of Turin is the most powerful witness in the world that tells the most powerful truth. May that truth set you free forever.